We've finally arrived here at the Season 1 finale of Tales from the Glass-Guarded World, with Brian as Paxton, the human cleric and fighter, Danielle as Athelflaed, the halfling rogue and monk, Ashley as Tara Dane, the human fighter, Chris as Aster Fortuna, the half-elf rogue and bard, and me, Mike, as the DM. Oh, and a special guest for a brief moment. What happens after Season 1 ends? We'll be releasing a few things from time to time while I do some writing and planning to prepare for Season 2. You might see some music in your feed or maybe some one-shot game sessions. We'll also release an end-of-season review next week in which we talk about the things we liked and didn't like about Season 1. Remember that you can find us on Twitter as @TFTGGW and on Facebook as facebook.com/Tales from the Glass-Guarded World. Or you can email us at tftggw@gmail.com. It's particularly important for you to check Twitter because we're going to put up a poll after this episode is released, asking you which NPC you would most like to return for Season 2. I don't mind telling you that I want to see Epilema again, but I'll leave it up to you. We last left our heroes as they prepared for a party at the Dane household. Unbeknownst to Tara's family, and everyone else in the world, the adventurers planned to sneak out during the party and smash the soul jar, the giant glass and stone container at the middle of the city, which contains all the souls of the dead. They don't know exactly what is going to happen if they succeed, but messages left by the dead god Foresight seem to suggest that this is the only way to save their world, now that the rivers are failing, temperatures are rising, and war is spreading. Will they succeed? And what happens if they do?
Let's go to a party.
Yes. Get our party on.
The party that evening, it is a pretty formal affair. People gradually trickle in of the different noble families, the greater and the lesser, and they're wearing their fancier, nicer clothing. And it's a little awkward for some of you who are not used to rubbing elbows with the rich and important, but it goes fine. Everyone is polite. Maydu is there with his family. The rest of the Handsome Four is not there.
What about the ugly one?
The ugly one, he's not there.
Bummer.
Yeah.
He's a good conversationalist.
He's my favorite.
I know, he's awesome.
Now, I mentioned last time he never said anything other than grunts. You actually have heard him say, "Make way for the Handsome Four" before. You've heard him say that, but that's the only thing you've ever heard him say other than, Yeah, the Swepnos of the Oinos family is present. He is extremely ancient and decrepit, and his not quite as old son, Lavarian, is sort of helping him move around the rooms and doing most of the talking. Also, there are the twins of the Guos family, Huan and Sen, and then there's the Yugam family as well. They spend most of their time talking to Tara's parents. Also, Finn's parents, it seems they're having trouble sort of getting people's attention to talk to them because they're so short, and they actually end up spending a lot of their time talking to Athelflaed because she's the other short person in the room. But in any case, at some point during the party, Lavarian of the Oinos family leaves his decrepit father with an aide and comes to talk to Tara. And he says, "Hello, Tara, I'm so glad you're back here at Arrival. It's not the same without you. Wonderful to have you back here." Again, this is Lavarian of the Oinos family. "So, I've heard you must have had some exciting journeys. I was wondering if you could tell me anything about it."
Wow, yeah, we had...
Where did you go, for example? Did you make your way to the Great Forest?
Oh, no. We didn't go in that direction.
Oh, well, that's too bad. I was hoping to get some information. As you know, with the war going on there, everyone wants more information. I was wondering if you knew anything.
Well, I have heard some concern about the Iron Empire wanting to attack the Great Forest. So I don't know that I don't know what they've done at this point, but they are here. So I imagine they're trying to attack somewhere.
Oh, so you're surely right. It's very insightful of you. Oh, I see the twins are coming. I'm going to go get something to eat. It's good to talk to you. I'll talk to you later.
Nice talking to
And
you.
he sort of flees as these two teenage twins come over to you. They're both wearing white tunics, a male and a female. They're human-looking half-elves, and they both come over to you and they say, "Hello, Tara. How are you?" "Yes. How are you?" "Hello. We're so glad that you're back."
What
What
can
are you?
guys-
Well, tell us about. Oh, I'm sorry. You talk. No. I'm going to talk.
Owlbears?
Owlbears?
Yeah, do you guys have any owlbears?
Owlbears.
Just wondering.
You want to know about
Have you
owlbears?
ever domesticated them?
We have contacts with some people who could get you out. You want owlbears?
Oh,
Oh, you want owlbears? We could probably get you owlbears if you want owlbears. We had questions. We heard you had exciting travels. Did you find any owlbears? Where did you go?
Well, yeah.
Was it dangerous?
Yes.
Oh, God.
And yes.
Why was it dangerous? You found owlbears.
Owlbears, yes.
Oh, owlbears are dangerous.
I noticed.
How did you get that scar?
Which one?
You pick one.
I point to the one that I think is probably from owlbears, like from some bear claws.
Okay.
Scraping through her armor, like
Uh-huh.
kind of like roll up her sleeve, and like that right there is from an owlbear.
Wow, that's
Kinda proud of
impressive. Very impressive. Very impressive. Did you see any strange animals other than owlbears? What about bear owls? Are there such things as bear owls? I don't know if there are such things as bear owls. Did you see any?
Well, I think that would be about the same thing, really.
Oh, that's too bad.
But I did see a ooh, God, what's that thing with the lion head?
You saw a chimera?
Yeah, there we go.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. That is amazing. What did you do with it? Did you run from it? Did you fight it? What did you do?
We disposed of it.
You killed it?
Well, it was kind of terrorizing people and murdering them.
That's impressive. Did you bring anything back from it? A trophy? Yes, you must have brought a trophy. Did you bring a trophy?
Well, I don't have it anymore.
Oh. Well, that's fine. Did you find anyone who needs livestock? Perhaps you met someone who needed some livestock while you were out and around. Maybe you know someone who needs pigs. We have lots of pigs. We have too many pigs right now. Do you know anyone who needs pigs?
Well, I don't know of anyone that needs pigs, but maybe some cows in the few cities
Cows.
in the
We can get
Ministry.
cows.
They might be hurting for some cows.
So what are you going to do now? Are you going to go somewhere else? Are you staying here for a while? Are you going to travel?
Well, I can't say right now. Everything up in the air with the blockade that's around the city, so I don't know that I could really leave with the blockade.
They both laugh. Oh, you know the blockade. There are people who can get past that. Anyone could really get past that if they have a fast enough ship. Finn's sister has a fast enough ship. You could use that to get past the blockade easily.
Oh, well, yeah, I did get in through the blockade, but,
Right, of course you did. Oh, silly us. Well, we're probably talking your ear off. Unless you want to keep talking to us, we could talk some more. We have some questions. We have more questions. We have lots of questions. So many questions.
we should absolutely catch up later.
Okay, later. You escape. Athelflaed, Finn's parents are obviously uncomfortable at this party full of tall people. They want to know from you how long you knew Finn and how well you knew him. And basically, it's pretty clear that they're fishing for nice things for someone to say about Finn.
Oh, well, I met him when
Did you know him for long? He was a nice kid, wasn't he? We had the best things. His sister is so torn up. She's here somewhere.
Oh, I could tell you multiple times that I'm standing here today because of him. He saved our group many, many times.
Oh, well, that's just like him, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, his mother says, he was a good boy. I'm so sad that it's just heartbreaking that he never got to live up to his full potential, and his sister is just... Finn's father says, don't talk about his sister as though it were a competition. It's okay. She's going to be her own person. Alila is just the way she is. Yes, but she could be more, too. She could live up to Finn's legacy, but, yeah, she's got her own thing. she likes racing sailboats, you know. She likes racing sailboats. I don't know why she likes racing sailboats, but that's what she wants to do. So that's what she does all day, every day. It's
That
ridiculous.
sounds amazing.
Oh, you think so? See, it does sound amazing. It sounds great. So you should go easier on her. She likes sailing sailboats, and that's fine.
I think it's wonderful. I would love to see it sometime.
Oh, I'm sure she'd love to see it. You find her around here somewhere. She'll probably take you straight to her boat.
Okay.
Well, they'll point out where she is. She is leaning up against one of the walls, looking extremely bored. She is not dressed up nice, and her hair is not well kept. And yeah, she is trying to look. She is trying not to be visible, but it's clear that she was dragged here against her will.
Hey, I can tell you and I are going to be friends. The name's Athelflaed.
She rolls her eyes and says,
I knew your brother.
Alila. Oh, you knew Finn, huh? Finn who's the best. Finn who's everyone's sad about. Finn. Finn.
No. Actually, I was checking to see about your hobby or profession.
My boat?
You race them?
Oh, yeah, I race boats. I've got the fastest boat around.
That sounds fascinating.
Yeah.
As soon as they told me, I had to come over and see what was going on.
All right, well, she will talk your ear off about boats. So the question is, at some point during the party, they're going to sort of announce that Tara is back and have sort of an opportunity for people to give speeches if they want to, and then the party will continue. Do you want to sneak out before that or after that?
I think that after seems like the more appropriate time because otherwise people will definitely be looking for her.
Sure.
Whereas she might be like, let me get some air afterwards
Sure.
and be able to slip out more comfortably.
At some point, your father dings a spoon on a glass and calls for everyone's attention and says, "Everyone, please, if you'll listen, I'm so proud of my daughter and all that she's done. She's traveled to distant lands and made her way back here safely through a blockade, I might add." And everyone claps politely. And she's back now, and she's ready to get back to work for the Dane family. And I'm sure she's looking forward to doing a lot of business with all of you. Tara, is there anything you'd like to say?
Oh no, I'm not a big speech giver, Dad.
Oh, that's my daughter. Well, is there anything anyone else would like to say before we all get back to the main course? The food will be served soon, and the main course of food. Of course, feel free to enjoy the appetizers. Anyone else want to say anything?
Where's the macaroni?
He laughs. He's, "Oh, the macaroni. It's over there. I think Howie can direct you to it."
I want to say something.
Oh, okay. He says, "Yes, the handsome gentleman." He nudges.
Tara looks terrified.
He nudges Tara with his elbow. It's the handsome gentleman.
So I walk up and I address the crowd. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. The name is Asta Fortuna, Bard Extraordinaire. What could I say about Tara Dane? She is stronger than wolves and gorillas and all kinds of creatures that reside in the wilderness. But she is fair, like a beautiful princess. She is a delight to be around, and if you are in trouble, she's the first to jump out, and with her mighty sword, protect those who cannot protect themselves. So, you should all be proud that you got a chance to be part of the Tara Dane experience.
Hear, hear.
I still can't find the macaroni. Any biscuits?
Howie pulls you aside and says, "They're over here, madam.
Oh, okay, thank
They're
you.
up. I'll lift you up onto the table here."
Oh, thank you.
I start putting some in my pockets.
Please don't put macaroni in your pocket.
Biscuits too.
Athelflaed, be cool.
I put 2 thumbs up.
2 cheese-covered thumbs up.
Yep.
Some other people make some polite speeches, but the main course is eventually served, although it's not formal dining. It's just brought around to people to eat on plates as they stand around and talk. If you wanted to slip away, this might be a time.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to kind of go around and grab everyone's elbow and motion.
As I'm eating a
for us to
biscuit.
head out.
I would like you all to make stealth checks.
All right.
I'm going to let you guys roll them.
Ooh, 24.
Oh, snap.
Paxton, you're not at disadvantage because you're not wearing your armor. Oh, you are wearing your armor at the party. Okay, you are at disadvantage.
26.
All right, 26 for Aster. Paxton.
1.
He
Okay.
crashes into some plates on his way out.
Athelflaed, what did you get?
It was 24 total.
And Tara?
18.
18. So all of you sneak out, and Paxton is the last one out. And on his way out, he realizes that the door he's going through is not quite big enough for him to get his armor through easily. He's just so big with this giant suit of armor, and he clangs into the door, walking through it, and then turns sideways and sneaks through it. And everybody in the party turns and looks at him.
Is it this way to the bathroom?
And Howie says, "No, sir, it's not that way. It's this way. Let me show you."
I walk with him, and I send a message to Tara, and I'm like, I'll be out in a second.
All right, so you go to the restroom and then come back out, and I guess you can try again. There are a few people sort of watching you occasionally. What's up with that guy in the giant suit of armor? Go ahead and roll again.
7.
7. All right. Well, this time, some people notice you leave, but it doesn't make a big... It's not a big event like it was before. All right? You all gather outside the building. You are now ready to proceed. What are you going to do?
I tell Aster he needs to disguise me.
Mhm. I'm going to try to do that.
Disguise kit. We decided, I think that was intelligence plus your proficiency bonus.
Yes.
Although if you want to take 10, it's an option. You could just take 10 minutes and just be careful, and you would automatically roll a 10 if you wanted to do that.
10 plus my proficiency.
10 plus your proficiency plus your intelligence bonus. Or you could roll and see if you can get a better number.
Oh, where am I able to pick up some paint or spray paint?
How good is 15?
That's-
Is that good enough to do a good job?
15 is a pretty good job. You want some spray paint?
Yeah, because I'm going to draw on the...
Well, there's no spray paint, but you could get a can of paint and a brush.
Okay, I go looking for that.
There's a tool shed. You could see it. They probably have some paint in there.
All right, I grab
All right.
one.
And I snuck a bottle of wine while I was at the party, right? For the
Yes.
poison stuff.
You've got a bottle of wine, a
It
bottle
was-
of sleep draft.
I did it so stealthily that I didn't even remember to roll for it.
Can I give the poison to Paxton?
I thought Paxton already had it.
Oh, okay.
It
Never
was
mind.
for me, remember? Wink.
Oh, yeah, he's right. And then, can I do the 15 then? Can
Yeah,
I
you roll.
take 10
You roll a
minutes?
15.
No, take the 10 minutes.
Oh, 10 minutes. Yeah, so you take 10 minutes to put the disguise on Tara. How are you disguising her? What is her disguise?
I'm going to make her look kind of like older, like very much like
Okay, you're making her look
a
older.
mid-aged person.
Okay.
But I put in shadows and make her look like she's like been through the ringer.
Okay.
Kind of like, want her to look kind of like a disgruntled old pirate.
Okay. She
Or
looks
she
like
looks
an old pirate.
Kind of like a bandit a little bit.
All right. And
Not her at all.
what about clothing wise? Are you doing anything?
Can I do that with the disguise?
Not that it's, well, I'm asking if Tara wants to do
Oh.
anything.
We should probably put a cloak around her armor to kind of cover up the polished niceness
Okay.
and everything.
Right.
Tuck her braid up.
Okay.
Make her hair just kind of short.
Well, I assume that's kind of part of the disguise.
Yeah.
Is he's going to change your hairstyle to something like a pirate would wear? So maybe a top knot or something.
Mhm.
Okay.
Is anybody else doing anything?
Putting on the cloak,
Okay.
getting ready to start stumbling around and being
Okay.
chased by
What's your
Paxton.
disguise?
uh
I mean, what do you want to look like?
random vagrant, maybe.
A random vagrant,
Yeah.
a halfling or a dwarf or some. What are you going to try to appear to be?
Look.
Has to be
Let's go-
someone short.
Yeah, let's go ahead for dwarf.
Dwarf. All right.
Yeah.
So you appear like a dwarf, a homeless dwarf is what you're going for here. Okay. And Paxton, what are you doing?
I've got that black cloak on. I hand the bottle of wine to Athelflaed, and I say, take a big pull off this because we gotta drain it down a little bit. And then once it's, down a little bit, I add the sleeping potion to it and shake it up a bit.
Okay.
So that basically the whole bottle of wine now is mixed up sleeping potion.
Ooh,
Got it.
courage potion.
Yeah.
I
All
use
right.
disguise self on myself.
All right. What are you disguised as?
I want to look. I switch back into my normal outfit,
Okay.
and right there in front of them. And then I put on my regular outfit, and then I disguise self to look like more rugged, more kind of like almost like a let's see, what can I become? A human,
Okay.
like a big,
A little bulkier.
bulky human,
Yeah.
and then kind of looking like a soldier. I want to have the
Okay.
little bit of scars, look maybe like if
All right.
I'm a guard of
All right.
the city.
He looks more like a scruffy, tough soldier now. You make your way to the square. As I mentioned before, it's usually not crowded in the evenings. That includes tonight. There are 4 magical flames set out around the glass container, and you can see them as you're approaching the square from the eastern boulevard. It's always very dark in the streets at night because of the tarps overhead, as I also mentioned before, because they block out the dim evening sunlight. There are still the 4 streets that lead into the square. You can see the Scholars Guild, the world's oldest university. And you can see the inn, the somewhat worn down looking older building. As you approach the square, 2 students walk into the Scholars Guild, and they're sort of laughing, and a mage hand appears behind them and shuts the door. The inn, Eldgestarn, has a warm, comforting looking glow coming through the first floor windows, and you can see a group of drunken halflings that stumble out the front door and then down the street to the west. The southeast corner, the Hall of Martial Valor, you can see that there are 2 people standing guard duty here. There's a dwarf and an orc. As you're walking up to the square, the dwarf gets up and walks off from the guard post and walks around the building. The orc just stands there looking sleepy. The southwest corner, as I mentioned, is the first bank. It appears closed. You don't see any lights out front. The doors are closed. You don't see anyone standing guard out front. And then the jar itself is being guarded by 2 human men, a female elf, and a female dwarf. The elf is obviously a wizard or sorcerer. The dwarf might be a rogue. And one of the human men is wearing plate mail armor and has a greatsword. And the other is wearing chainmail and has a mace and a shield. And they appear alert but bored. Tara and Aster, you don't recognize them.
Okay.
And there are other people strolling by. There's a cart that rolls by carrying a load of clay jars. They're probably full of olive oil. So what do you do?
We're the distraction.
Mm-hmm.
So we go first. So you get your bucket of paint ready, and you go over to the wall and start painting once I walk over and talk to him.
I have a
Okay.
question about the wine and the poison sleepiness. How are you going to... Is that my job? Is that... Who's
I'm-
putting them to sleep?
So I'm going to walk over. I'm going to make some chit-chat. I'm going to offer them some wine, see if they take it. And then after we see if any of them take it or not, look at her. She's painting on that wall. Get her.
Got it. Good plan.
And then hopefully they all run away and try to tackle her. And then y'all smash the soul jar, and we'll just deal with whatever happens after that.
Got
Okay,
it.
I'm going to direct them more specifically. I want you to talk to them at the southeast,
Okay.
in front of the Hall of Martial Valor. I kind of point out the hall and the
Okay.
guards there. And I will be on the opposite side of the jar, near the Scholars Guild, where there's no one.
Where should I run off to have them chase me? So towards the Scholars Guild? On the other side?
I mean,
Try to
Run
draw them
wherever
towards the
you're not
Martial
chasing.
Hall, right?
The Martial Hall?
you don't run towards me.
Yeah.
Run,
Okay.
but don't get caught.
I'll if anything, I'll just start climbing stuff with acrobatics.
I mean, all goes well, the jar breaks and there's a big distraction from you
Yeah.
anyway.
All right.
But not a end of the world distraction. Just a good one.
And I'm going to be close by, maybe in some bushes. Just waiting.
Okay,
Near-
there
near
aren't any
Tara.
bushes.
Or
There's pretty much no cover here.
is there
Alright.
any way that I can be close but not be seen? Or do I have to roll some kind
You
of
could
stealth?
roll a stealth check. I'll see if you can find a good shadow to hide in around the corner from the square.
Okay. That's good. 18.
All right. So you find a good shadow around the corner on the eastern boulevard. Under the tarps, there are plenty of dark shadows.
Okay.
Okay. So, Paxton, you walk up to the guards who are standing near which place? Which place are you walking up to?
I'm walking from the Martial Hall
Mhm.
towards the Soul Jar.
Okay, so you're walking from the east, past the Hall of Martial Valor, toward the Soul Jar in the middle of the square. And Athelflaed, you're going up to the
Mhm.
jar?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I bring out my pain. I kind
All
of.
right, well, Paxton's going to talk to somebody first,
Mhm.
right?
Okay, yeah.
Right. Yeah, so I as I'm walking up to him, I'm trying to like stumble just a little bit and like really emphasize the clankiness of my armor and
Mhm.
everything to try to draw their attention with the sound and everything.
Okay.
And then I pull out the bottle of wine,
Mhm.
but I have my thumb in the top of the bottle and I tip it back and
Oh.
pretend to take a big swig out of it. And I walk up to him and I say, "Howdy, y'all."
The person who is on closest on this side is the man wearing plate armor with a great sword.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "Greetings, citizen.
How you doing? Y'all guarding the soul jar?
Indeed, it is our great honor tonight to guard the soul jar. It is us, these heroes of arrival." You can see the other guards are all looking at him now, and they're all looking irritated. And he says, "It is indeed us. It is us, the First Class Four. Have you heard of us, the First Class Four?"
Is that you mean the handsome four?
And his shoulders sort of droop.
I've heard of
And he
them. Are you
says-
related to them?
No. No, we're not. We're the First Class Four. You haven't heard of the First Class Four? This is our first guard duty of the jar. It's supposed to be a great honor.
Oh, well, that's cool. I mean, it is certainly an honor to guard the soul jar. Did you hear about that party happening around here? Someone gave me a bottle of this real fancy wine. It's the best wine I ever
The Dane
tasted.
party?
I think so.
Yeah, we weren't invited. You were invited, huh?
Someone gave me a bottle of wine from the party. I didn't make it
Oh.
inside, though. You want to taste it?
Oh, I might need a drink.
Oh, heck yeah. It's so good.
And the elf nearby says, "Don't you dare take a drink of that." He says, come on.
He's his own man. Let him make his decisions.
That's right. Yeah.
You don't have to listen to no fancy pants elf.
And the dwarf comes around from the other side of the jar while he sticks out his hand to take a drink of it.
Yeah, get you some.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so he takes a drink. Athelflaed, you're starting to paint.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Athelflaed is starting. What are you painting? A giant butt?
A giant butt.
All right, Athelflaed starts painting a giant butt on the glass. And Paxton, this man in armor,
Mm-hmm.
as soon as he takes a drink, like almost as quickly as it touches his lips, he's out. He's
What a
just
lightweight.
suddenly clank hits the ground. And the dwarf that was walking up, this female dwarf, looks at him and looks at you and says, "I have some of that."
Yeah, I'm sure you're less of a lightweight than this guy.
And
You can
the-
probably handle yourself.
the sorceress says, "No, don't you dare drink that."
Are you gonna let her talk to you like that?
And she rushes over to the man on the ground. And Athelflaed's still painting.
We should have disguised you too, Paxton.
I've got my helmet on.
No one has noticed Athelflaed painting yet.
This butt's getting bigger.
So
Eventually it's finished. You have to go over and make another one.
I'm nonchalantly walking past the Scholars Guild. Who's the guard on that side? Have they been distracted yet?
On that side is the human wearing a chainmail with a mace and a shield.
Isn't it? That's not the one that fell asleep,
No,
right?
he's wearing plate armor.
Okay, it's the great sword guy that fell asleep, right?
Right.
Okay. So I'm trying to push this wine towards the dwarf, like, you better get you some before she takes it away.
Right. And she is trying to tend to the guy who has clanked loudly to the floor, dropped just like a sack of potatoes. Tara, you can see this man standing here. He looks stern and serious.
Can I see Athelflaed from my perspective?
If you lean around a little bit, you can sort of see her around the side.
So I am trying to make my voice gruff,
Mm-hmm.
like what I assume. I know what a pirate sounds like.
Uh-huh.
I go, "Yar!" There's something happening around there.
And they see me. I'm starting to draw.
All right. Roll a deception check. That was terrible.
That's why Tara doesn't have a character voice. I got a 7.
A 7? All right. His insight check was an 8. So he looks at you and raises one eyebrow and says, "What are you on about, lady?"
That's one ugly lady.
You peek around that corner, you'll find out.
He sort of leans over and looks around the corner and says, What's going on here? What is she doing? What are you doing?
I don't know her.
I've decided I'm in the middle of I got bored. I finished the picture of the butt, so I wrote the word butt in common language in case no one knew what it was.
Okay.
I try to diffuse the situation by saying, "Hey, pirate lady, you want some wine?"
Oh no.
So there's a butt with the word butt next to it, and there is a sleeping man on the floor, and Tara is trying to sound like a pirate to talk to this man here. He looks at Athelflaed and says, Are you painting on the soul jar?
I'm painting a butt on the soul jar. See? And I point to the picture
All right,
and
he
the
casts
word.
a spell. Make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh my god. Please.
Oh, 7. 3 is 10.
Athelflaed is held.
Ah!
Ooh.
Can I? How
he-
close?
He walks over
This
to
is
her.
the chainmail guy, right?
Yes, he
Okay.
walks over to Athelflaed and takes the paintbrush out of her hand and the paint bucket out of her
I
other
was
hand.
using that.
While he's doing this,
Uh-huh.
I run at the soul jar.
All right. Make an attack roll.
Oh
no.
boy.
Oh my god.
Now, if I remember correctly, does this thing give advantage on attacks against?
Hold on, yeah. Let me go read what I said.
If-
It's double damage when used to break constraints.
I see.
Ooh.
So this attack was a 10.
Your war pick sort of bounces off of the soul jar, makes a sort of a clanging noise. You all hear sort of a weird clanging noise, but it's not as loud as what you were expecting to happen. It just sort of bounces off of the jar. And the cleric notices and sort of leans around the corner and looks in your direction, and then looks back at Athelflaed, who is frozen in place. What are you doing now?
I'm going to take my second attack.
All right, you take another attack. Actually, he hasn't done that yet. You get to take both your attacks first.
Okay, 18.
That is a hit. There is a solid thwang, a giant ringing noise, and all of you feel it in your bones as
Ooh.
this jar suddenly makes a loud ringing bell-like sound, and Tara cracks suddenly spread across the surface of the jar in every direction, and the ringing continues. It reverberates. Roll your damage.
Okay, so do I roll my damage twice and then add my proficiency once?
That's it.
Okay. That is 12.
It is not shattered. It has not been pierced, but there are cracks everywhere.
So, since I know that stuff's about to pop off, I think that probably like Tara can hold her own against the fighters, but I think that sorceress is probably the biggest threat.
Okay.
So I want to grapple her and put my hand around her mouth so that she can't say any magic
no verbal
words.
components.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and make an athletics check, and she will try to oppose it.
Oh,
Mm.
that's a 9.
All right. She slips out of your grasp, and she says, I don't know who you are, or what you think you are doing, but you've chosen the wrong day to do it. We're the First Class 4, and this is exactly what we've trained for.
Sorry, I was just flirting.
Roll for initiative.
All of us?
All of you.
Oh, but
That's going to determine what... Well, I mean, you may not want to do anything, but
Am I still?
you're held.
Yeah. So
But you get
do
to
I...
save every round.
Oh, okay.
Oof. That's terrible.
That's terrible. That's bad.
Athelflaed, what'd you get for initiative?
19.
Tara, what'd you get?
7.
Paxton?
5.
What?
Aster?
No. 10. Only Athelflaed, you got this.
All right, she doesn't
have to
get
do
to
a
do anything
save,
until the
right?
end of her round when she saves.
Maybe everyone else did bad too.
So yeah, Athelflaed, you don't get to do anything until the end of your round when you get to roll a saving throw, wisdom saving throw. So go ahead and roll that.
Okay, so 22.
Yes, you easily shake off the paralysis from the hold spell. That's the end of your turn, but you are now freed. The fighter gets to go, and he snores. The dwarf gets to go, and she immediately is looking suspicious and decides to attack Paxton, who had attempted to grapple the sorceress. she pulls out a dagger,
Snake.
and she hits AC 18, which means she misses.
Hmm.
All right, so her dagger bounces off of your armor, but you can tell she is not messing around. She is stabbing to kill. And the sorceress gets to go, and she backs up. She casts a twinned spell, so she uses a sorcerer point. She casts Ray of Frost on Paxton and on Athelflaed, which means she has to roll to hit. And she misses both of you.
Yay.
Her spell misses both of you. You both jump aside as a ray of cold energy streaks past you. And that means it is now Aster's turn. Aster, you can see that the fight has begun, whether you wanted it or not. What are you going to do?
So Calm Emotion says, alternatively, you can make a target indifferent about creatures of your choice that it is hostile towards. This indifference ends if the target is attacked or harmed by a spell, or if it witnesses any of its friends being harmed. When the spell ends, the creature becomes hostile again. Unless the GM rules otherwise. But, would that stop them from attacking if they become indifferent?
Yes, so, and the area of effect is
20?
20. Yeah, so that will cover everyone except for the cleric. Right? That will cover everyone except for the cleric.
The cleric is the one that's...
The cleric is the one who casts Hold Person. He's the one that's sort of between Terra and Athelflaed.
That's the one I wanted to hit the most.
Oh, well, you could cover him. You could get him.
And only him?
And only him, or you could get the other three.
One sleeping.
And one sleeping.
We want nobody to attack Terra while she's trying to smash the glass. So it's going to be the cleric that I try to use the spell on.
All right, you cast a spell on the cleric, and you want him to be uninterested in the four of you. Is that
Yeah,
right?
just walk over.
All right, he has to make a saving throw.
Yep, 14.
Charisma save 14. Not here.
No, wait, hold on. It's with the Guitar of the Bizarro. Let me see what it says.
He failed.
Oh, okay.
He-
But I do have to make a performance check.
Ah, right.
Because it's the... Yeah.
Casting a spell.
And it is... 16.
Yes, you succeed. All right, Aster strums the guitar, and suddenly the cleric's face just kind of goes blank, and he begins ignoring all of you. He just loses interest in what you're doing. Keep in mind, this indifference ends if the cleric observes any of his friends being harmed.
Yeah,
Right.
wait, can I do... No, using message would be... Using message is an action, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can't use it.
All right, and that means that it is now Terra's turn. Terra, what are you going to do?
Attack.
Attack the soldier. All right. 2 attacks.
That is a 24.
That's a hit. You managed to penetrate the glass.
And that is 12 damage.
12 more damage. And you get a second attack.
Yes. 24.
Okay, another penetrating hit.
And this time it is 11 damage.
All right, you are doing some serious damage to this jar, and the cracks are spreading all over the place. There is glass now falling off of the side of it. You haven't broken through yet.
Okay, wait. I use action surge,
Ah,
push myself
all right.
beyond normal limits,
All right.
and attack a third time.
Okay.
So I'll point out that Action Surge gives you another action,
So you can...
and the action, if you choose to attack with that action,
It's
so
2
you
more
actually get
attacks.
2 more attacks.
Mm-hmm. So you're gonna...
Yeah, so
Oh,
we're gonna break
wow.
this thing,
All
right?
right.
Oh my goodness.
All right, that was in 14.
14, you're not able to penetrate the glass. This is tough stuff. It's like hitting steel.
This is even worse.
Oh.
So I guess it's 12.
Yeah, your war pick bounces off of the glass this time, and you're not able to get through.
Feeling quite tired.
Yeah, you're getting a little worn out from these hits, but you're definitely making serious headway. It's not going to stand up to much more of this. It is now Paxton's turn. Paxton, what are you doing?
So, since I noticed that it looks like Terra's running out of steam, for my action, I'm going to cast Bless. And you bless up to 3 creatures of your choice within range whenever a target makes an attack roll or a saving throw before the spell ends, and it lasts for 1 minute. The target can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to the attack roll or saving throw. So this isn't like Guidance where it just happens once. It's you add a d4 for everything. and it's on 3 people. So I'm going to do Athelflaed, Aster, and Terra.
And how long does that last?
1 minute.
1 minute. Wow. So 10 rounds.
Yep.
Okay.
And for my bonus action, I'm going to cast a Shield of Faith on Terra, which gives her a +2 AC bonus. So it should make you unhittable.
Nice.
I'm like, get it, pirate girl?
So
Anarchy.
Her AC is what now?
20.
20.
Oh, snap.
All right. And how long does that last?
10 minutes.
Wow, okay. So effectively forever for the purposes of combat.
Yep.
All right. The cleric gets to go. Now, he has lost interest in all of you, and none of you have hurt any of his friends since the spell was cast on him. So he's just standing there looking around. He looks at the soul jar. He looks a little, that seems strange. I wonder what's going on there. Athelflaed, it's your turn. I'm sorry. One other thing happens. The 2 guards who were standing in front of the Hall of Valor, right? One of them, remember, one of them was walking around on patrol. The orc has suddenly stood up and is looking panicky, and he shouts, I'll go get help.
Gotta act quickly.
Is anyone charging towards Terra?
No.
Okay. I'll try shooting my crossbow at any weak cracks in the glass for some
You're going to
option.
shoot your crossbow. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Shoot your crossbow at the glass. Make an attack roll.
Don't forget to add a D4.
So, 20.
Oof. Yes. That's a hit. 20 anything is going to penetrate this glass.
All right, and you said a D4, right, for the spell?
It's a D4 for the attack roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
so-
you've already,
Yeah.
you don't even need it.
Okay.
So just roll the damage from the crossbow, which is D8, right?
Plus Dex, which is 4. So 9.
Wow. Yeah, it's looking pretty busted. All right, so cracks begin spreading from the other side now, the side that Athelflaed is on. And the fighter remains asleep because no one has done anything to wake him up yet. The rogue says, "Hey, you stop that! You stop that!" And she attacks Athelflaed. Oh, okay. She hit you. She stabs you from behind with her dagger. She does
No sneak attack damage, right?
no sneak attack damage because no one is adjacent to Athelflaed. So Athelflaed's lucky. No sneak attack damage. She does 6 points of damage to you.
Okay.
So she stabs Athelflaed in the side, but Athelflaed is tough and she's still up. That means it is now the sorceress's turn. She is going to cast a different spell this time. She casts Snillock's Snowball Swarm on Paxton and on Athelflaed.
I can't catch a break.
So the way this works, you both need to make saving throws.
Okay.
Dexterity saving
Dexterity,
throws.
okay.
Does Bless work on this? No, right?
Yeah.
Ah, okay, here we go.
Add a D4.
Oh, 28.
10.
10? All right, Paxton fails, Athelflaed succeeds. Paxton, you are suddenly pelted by a swarm of snowballs that just appear out of the air and just start hammering you. It's like someone puts a rock in a snowball. That's what it feels like. And they're just hammering you, and you take 14 points of damage.
Ooh.
It's a hefty snowball.
Yes. And Athelflaed, you take 7 points of damage. And she says, "I warned you. You have to stop. Stop what you are doing immediately." It's Aster's turn. Aster, what do you want to do?
Now I'm going to use calm emotions again, but on the other side.
All right. They make saving throws.
Mm-hmm.
What's the DC?
DC should be 15. based
the-
on
Can he get the orc too?
No, it's 14.
The
It's
orc is just down the street.
It's DC 14. I'm sorry.
14. And is wisdom? Charisma.
Charisma.
So, unfortunately, both the elf and the dwarf saved. The only person who failed was the guy who's asleep on the ground. And he's already very calm.
Yeah, it's D14 spell save DC and no spells.
Yeah. So they both saved.
Okay.
It is now Terra's turn.
I'm going to continue to attack.
All right.
Man, I thought I could stop the fight.
17.
18. No, actually, you don't. You don't manage to penetrate it. So close, but your weapon actually bounced off. It is basically like attacking steel. So you didn't make it, but make your second attack.
It's definitely not going to make it.
Your weapon is bouncing off.
All of a 6.
Oh dear. Terra's run out of steam, and that brings us to
Can I repost
No.
and disarm?
Paxton, what do you want to do? Every time she hits it, there's this loud clanging noise, but it doesn't seem to be spreading cracks the same way it did a moment ago.
So I'm going to run over to where Tara is,
Okay.
and as I'm running, I'm going to use my bonus action to summon my mace to my hand,
Okay.
and then I'm going to try to whack into an area where there's already a lot of like cracks
Okay.
spiraling out.
Make an attack roll. Actually, you run past the sorceress.
Attack of opportunity.
She attempts to hit you with her quarterstaff. And she rolls a 1, which means I have to look up on the fumble table what happens.
She smacks herself in the head.
She hits the soldier.
All right, let's see what happens on the fumble table. So as Paxton attempts to run past the elf sorceress, she attempts to whack him and fumbles, and this might be bad. She exposes herself to your attack. She sort of stumbles and trips over the quarterstaff, and you realize you have a really good opportunity to hit her here if you want to.
Instead of the soul jar, or in addition?
In
to
addition, you get a free opportunity attack on her.
I rolled in that one.
Okay.
I shouldn't have taken the bait.
Roll percentile.
100? No, that's not what that is. What is it if it's a 1 and a double 0? Would that just be
One?
1?
Oh, that's just 1.
1. Okay.
Make a dexterity check.
9.
Dexterity saving throw, actually.
Yeah, 9.
All right, Paxton trips and falls prone.
So I don't get to hit the soul jar?
You can hit it from the ground, I guess, where you are.
Okay.
Is that disadvantage because he's prone?
If you make attacks when you're prone, then yes. Although you haven't taken your normal action really yet. So if you want to, I'll let you take an action. Take your your movement. You can stand up and then attack if you want to.
Yeah, I want to do
Okay,
that.
but you haven't moved around the side of the jar. You're just kind of standing next to the sorceress now.
Can I move up and get to where the spider webbing is? Like the cracks?
I mean, there are cracks all over, but you can't get to the spot you wanted to.
Well, this spot's just as good as any
All right.
other. So I rolled that attack before I knew that the sorceress was doing the attack of opportunity on me, and it was a 25.
Okay, well, you managed to break into the glass. Make a damage roll.
That is 7 bludgeoning,
All right, it is looking pretty weak now.
and I'm going to do an action surge to
Oh.
do one more attack.
All right.
That is 17. That's not good enough, right?
No, that is not good enough to break through the resistance of the jar.
Just clangs.
It just clangs loudly. It breaks when you actually cause damage. It makes a really loud ringing noise. But when you just hit it, it doesn't ring quite as loudly.
There seems to be something about this soul jar that doesn't like it when we action surge near it.
Right?
All right. The cleric chooses to ignore what you are doing, and he continues just looking at the soul jar. He looks kind of panicked about the soul jar, but doesn't really seem interested in you. Athelflaed, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna try to hit the soul jar with the crossbow
Wait, are you
again.
talking about the cleric?
Yeah, the cleric.
Paxton made an attack on Arnett. Oh, but he didn't hit her.
He didn't hit her.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just swung and fell, and yeah, so
That's a good point. We should try not to hit these people and just focus fire on the
But
soul
I don't
jar.
think you guys know that I cast.
no, you
Unless
might not know. Well, you know the
Might
cleric's
notice.
acting weird.
Okay.
All right, so the cleric ignores all of you and is just looking at the jar, looking concerned. Athelflaed attacks the soul jar.
Yeah. 19.
19 is enough.
All right.
Another bolt damages the jar.
All right. 10.
Wow. That is 6 solid hits now. It's still not destroyed. There's big flakes of glass falling off. It's really starting to look weak, and you can hear some continued cracking noises after the bolt hits. So it continues making more cracking noises, even though no one's actually hitting it at the moment. And more little fingers of cracks seem to spread around the jar.
Is any smoke coming out of it yet?
Not yet, no. Now it is the fighter's turn. He sleeps because no one has yet taken an action to wake him up. The dwarf rogue will run over to him and kick him. Successfully. and he gets to make a saving throw now. And he continues snoring. It is the sorceress's turn, and she looks frantic. And she says, I don't understand why you're doing this. Get away from there. And she casts Lightning Lure on Paxton to try to pull him away from the jar. Make a strength saving throw.
20.
Oh, you resist. She attempts to throw sort of a lightning lasso around you and pull you toward her, but you're able to resist the pull, and it doesn't do anything to you. And that is her turn. That brings us to Aster. What do you want to do?
Okay, if I use Shatter with the Whistling Rapier, does it only affect creatures, not inanimate objects?
It affects anything.
I want to use Shatter on the glass.
All right. It simply has to make a saving throw, right?
Yes, and the save for this particular spell is Constitution 15.
Aster points his whistling rapier at the soul jar and sort of brandishes it. Roll damage, please.
Okay. 11.
11 damage. It is starting to fall apart. It hasn't yet fallen apart, but there are big pieces falling off, and you can start to see just the smallest amount of smoky gray mist is starting to leak out through the jar. And the elf woman looks terrified, and the dwarf sees her expression and turns around and looks at the jar, and they both begin backing away. Tara, it's your turn.
Okay.
It is now easier to damage the jar.
I got a 7. Wait, hold on. Sorry. That's 14.
14 still not quite good enough. Make your second attack.
Okay. This is a 20. Unnatural.
Yes, a 20 is enough. Roll your damage.
12.
12 points of damage. No, with one final strike, the jar rings again, louder, and then the ringing is drowned out by the sound of shattering glass. The sides of the jar fall apart, leaving only a few jagged bits holding the stone top on the top of the jar. The ruins on the top suddenly blink and stop glowing, and the gray mist inside starts pouring out of the sides of the jar. Most of the mist begins streaming upward at an incredible speed, straight toward the ring of light that is the sun at the top of the glass walls of the world. Not all of it goes upward, though. Smaller, almost humanoid-shaped wisps float outward and into the city. Now, at this point, the 3 guards who are still here, they all run. They all turn and they run away. The orc who ran off, he's coming back with that dwarf who was patrolling the outside of the building and some other people who are running up with him, and they see what's going on and they turn and they run away too. They are all running away from the middle of the city where you have shattered this jar.
I wonder if we take their lead.
Tara, a single figure floats down from the jar and lands in front of you. It's about 3 feet tall, and although it's hard to make out, you're pretty sure it's looking you in the face. And a ghostly gray appendage reaches out from it, and you can feel cold emanating from it. And a voice speaks in your head.
Quick, Tara! Take my hand! Trust me!
I quickly take Ghostfin's hand.
All right. Paxton, a slight gray figure emerges from the jar, and it stands in front of you, and it holds out a hand. And it says, I forgive you, Frith. Let me show you.
I take its hand.
Athelflaed, a short figure about your height, floats out of the jar and hovers in front of you, and it holds out a hand. And it says, Athel, it's time to leave.
Hey, it's Dad!
You take his hand?
Yeah!
Oh, okay. You just stand there staring. All right. Aster, a tall, slender shadow comes from out of the jar and floats in front of you. It holds out a hand and says, My son, this is not our home. Come.
I didn't have to face it like that. I look at everybody. I can see everybody taking ghostly figure hands.
Yes.
I've gone far enough, and I grab her hand, thinking that I'm going to die. So I grab
All
it
right.
and close my eyes.
So you reach out, and you each take hold of the specter's hands, and your hand instantly feels frozen, and you can feel this chill moving up your arm, but you can't let go. A flood of shadows falls out of the jar, spilling all around you, and most of them flow past you, but some wrap around you, surrounding you in this cold. Surprisingly, however, you feel yourself being lifted upward. First slowly, but then quickly you are lifted straight up, higher and higher. Through the gray clouds surrounding you, the city of Arrival falls away. It's still visible below you, but it's rapidly dwindling. And you can see The flat world stretching away in every direction away from you. The sea around Arrival, the Magistracy to the west, the Wildlands or the Great Forest to the north, the Iron Empire to the east, and the Free Cities to the south. You can see the blockading ships around the island, though from this height it looks as though they could not possibly be effective at blockading the city. You can see there are other people also being pulled up below you. Soon, however, you lose sight of all of the world as you begin entering clouds. The cold is nearly overwhelming, but suddenly you burst through the top of the clouds and you can see the sun again above you. At this distance, even the dim ring of the night sun is enough to warn you. As you continue to be carried upward, you realize it might be a good thing that you're surrounded by icy shadows because it's getting very warm. You also realize the walls of the world are narrowing rapidly as you rise, coming up to a cone shape with the sun at the top. And you can make out your friends around you also being carried up at an incredible rate, as well as other people you don't know, and it's impossible to tell how many people there are. The feeling of flight is exhilarating, and you get the sense that these ghostly shadows have a clear purpose. They are going somewhere. This feeling suddenly evaporates, however, when you get the feeling that something is wrong. You feel an urge to look down, and suddenly your feet look very small. In fact, your whole body looks too small. Suddenly your arms and then your torso grow dramatically in size, and you can feel this effect moving down your body. Looking around at the other people being carried, you see that their heads are rapidly growing larger, followed by their torsos and eventually their legs and their feet. It's not quite a painful process, but it's very uncomfortable. And as you rocket upward toward the sun, you realize that the escaped souls above you are pushing against something. There is something blocking your path. A giant wall of blackness above the sun seems to have stopped their upward progress. Terra, you're the first to hit this solid wall, and you realize that it is metallic. The souls around you are straining against it, pushing upward. Suddenly there's a loud booming pop, and the metal wall begins lifting upward, pushed up by these souls. Terra, you are carried, still growing, up above the sun, still glowing below you. Looking around, you see that you are standing, as you are set down, on a stone floor. The ghostly mist sets you down on the stone floor, and then it just dissipates. One small figure stays a bit longer, and then disappears. It doesn't fly away, it just vanishes. Next to you is a giant glass container, 10 feet wide at the base, 3 feet wide at the top, 8 feet tall, with a glowing ring at the opening. A metal disc is suspended above the opening, held up by this gray mist, as more people are carried up and out of the glass container, growing to full size just as you did. Your friends are right behind you, as well as others being carried up and out. The gray mist thins suddenly, and then the metal disc slams down onto the top of the glass container. You can still see the glowing ring within. You feel a little dizzy, but as you and your friends collapse on the stone and catch your breath, you realize that you and this giant glass container are in a recess set into a long stone hallway, stretching left and right. You can see other recesses set into the walls of this hallway, each containing a giant glass container, 10 feet wide at the base, 3 feet wide at the top, 8 feet tall, with a glowing ring and a metal disc at the top. One end of the hallway recedes in the darkness, but in the other direction, you can see a section that appears to have collapsed, and through it you can at first see only darkness, but then you see it's not dark. Casting a dim light onto the rubble of the hallway, as if from very far away, you can see something in that darkness up above. Tiny, twinkling lights in the sky. And that's where we'll stop.
Oh, what?
What?